First off, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to those apostles and elders from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. A lot of respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that you guys may be sealed soon. And with that, this your brother Dawab from the branch of GMS here in Chicago, coming right back at you with a little lesson. And it was just something on my mind for a moment before I start work. So I got a little bit of, I got about 15, 20 minutes before I start. But this is just something that was in my mind. I was sitting up here thinking about how, even though we use discretion, brothers always say when we at work in our everyday life, we incognegro, we got the Clark Kent spirit, the Bruce Wayne spirit, People don't know that much about us, but a lot of people see how we move. But sometimes, I always use discretion when people say things to me. Me being an older man at my job, I got a lot of younger people that's under me, and sometimes they ask me questions. So I use the scriptures a lot, but try to use discretion. There's a scripture in Apocrypha, I cannot find it. I tried to word it as much as I could to see if I could pull it up, but I couldn't find it. So if it's a brother who might listen to this, if you can find it where you use discretion, but you still use the word, even amongst people, but you use it discretionary. I couldn't find it. But either way it go, I did find a few scriptures that I thought would fit this lesson just for a moment. But like I said before, when people ask you questions, sometimes you just want to be discretion. You don't want to give away too much. You don't want to say too much. But being a man in the Lord, you always want to be able to give people an answer. I feel that if I don't answer the question, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So with that being said, I got a few scriptures I want to sit up here and get. This is 1 Corinthians 9:19. For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself a servant unto all, that I might gain the more. This Apostle Paul, we serve the Lord. So in doing so, we have an office that we serve our people, just as well. Here it is. If you ask me a question about something, yes, I'll use discretion. I'll use wisdom to sit up here and give you an answer, But hey, that's what a man of the Lord do. Hey, man, this truth like a fire in us, man. We can't get rid of it. We can't let it go, Even when we want to sometimes take a step back and not say things, sometimes, hey, we can't help it. This is 1 Corinthians 9:20. So I'm going to read to 22. And unto the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jews. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. To them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to Yahweh, but under the law to Yahweh Shai, that I might gain them that are without law. And these them Israelite foreigners, hey, people who are sitting up here living that Gentile state of mind. Paul went to go preach to the Israelite foreigners, to sit up here and let them know that, hey, they Israelites, and to come back to the power, because here it is, they were learning the ways of the foreign, they were learning the ways of the Gentile, the heathens. And Paul said he'd be everything to them, So what Paul did was use wisdom in how he sit up here and approach people. Sometimes you got to be rude in speech. Sometimes you got to be light in speech, how you talk to people. It all depends. This is 1 Corinthians 9:22. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. And there you go. And when he says to the weak, so there are certain things that we would do. You got strong men out there, tough guys, and sometimes you got to come at men the way they come at you. Sometimes you can't have a soft voice. Sometimes you got to come at them with, and when I say soft voice, sometimes you can't have you can't be the type that's, how can I say, you can't come at them with y'all know what I'm trying to get. I can't get the word. Sometimes you just got to come at dudes with rude speech, because sometimes our people just hard-headed. Sometimes you just got to lay it on them. But sometimes you could come at people in a kinder, more softer with softer tone is what I'm trying to say. But we are all things to all men, and that goes well when I was sitting up here trying to say where I'm at at work. I keep myself tend to not say a lot of things, but a lot of young guys, a lot of these young ladies sometimes ask me questions, and I use the scriptures to speak, but I use it wisely to speak to them, you know. And like I said before, people see how you move too and how you are. They see that you don't do certain things. They see that you don't celebrate certain things. So, sometimes that catch people's attention, especially since I've been in the truth, So, and I don't want to ramble on too much, but y'all getting the point that I'm trying to say that, hey, hey, we try to do things every way. Hey, we coming up on the times where it's about to, hey, this place is coming to an end, And you're going to have people that's going to ask questions, even people that's going to be family members, even people that's going to be around you that see how you move, even some coworkers might, I always use discretion and wisdom when you answer them, because those are the times that we're in. I want to go to 1 Timothy chapter 4. I'm going to start at 11. It says, These things command and teach. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example unto the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, and in purity. So, hey, be an example to everybody, in everything that you do. The spirit, you be an example because people see how you move. When people see how you move and what the things that you do, they sit up and say, man, this dude is a whole totally different man. And that's what people should see of you. When people look at you at work, when people look at you at home, when friends look at you maybe when you're out, when you're not amongst the brothers, people should see that you move in a totally different way that they don't. It says, 1 Timothy 4:13, till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by the prophecy with the laying of the hands of the presbytery, the order of elders, Hey, but it says give attendance to reading. Hey, so we should be focused on this truth more and more and more, especially as the days get, as the times that you see ahead, we should be more focused in this truth, It says 1 Timothy 4:15, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profit may appear to all. So when you give yourself to this truth, man, people see. Is see how you live in your life and see how it's guiding you. People see an inner peace. Hey, even though we're in hell, people see that inner peace that nothing bothers you. People see how you move, and I'm going to say that a lot. People see how you move and groove in this world. People see how you think, your actions. It's not like everyone else's. But here's the other point. It says 1 Timothy 4:16, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine, continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt save both thyself and them that hear thee. And that's the whole point, man. Sometimes, hey, that's why I sit up here and say sometimes you do answer people. Hey, when you in that incognegro spirit, sometimes you do sit up here and use wisdom sometimes to answer people questions, or even you might even intervene when you hear something. Now I do sometimes. I might hear something that, I know the people that's talking, I might intervene and say this or say that. But like I say before, I try to use discretion and wisdom when I'm answering these questions as much as possible. You don't know, you don't want to tell people this and this and that. But you do have the scriptures to sit up here and be wise in how you answer. And I think that's the one thing that I was going to say. Matter of fact, I know it's in Isaiah. Give me a second. It says, for doctrine, be instant. For 2 Timothy. Okay, I'm a little off. 2 Timothy 4. It says, here it is. I'm going to go to this. This is 2 Timothy 4:2. It says, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. And there you go. Preach the word. Now we out there on the highways and byways preaching the word. Yes. It says be instant in season, out of season. So those are going to go with the times of the days, the seasons, the months, whether it be raining, whether it be snow, whether it be sunny, no matter what, we're out there. It says reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. So, hey, we rebuke people. But like I said before, when you dealing with people in a certain area of your life, you want to use discretion. But This doctrine is used to do everything, and we use it as rebuke, to exhort, to comfort, to help. That's what this truth. That's what this truth is, man. It's life. It guides. If you sit up here and use it, But I'm not going to keep this long. Like I said before, I'm at work. I'm going to be starting pretty soon. But that was just a few things on my mind. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone, teach and rule well. A lot of respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways, preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the whole folk that you guys may be sealed soon. And with that, I always say stay prayed up, brothers. Pray for each other because we're almost up out of here. So with that, I'd like to say Kwam Yasharella and a Bob Ball. And Anyahabadam Malakim. Shalom.